Are you in the market for an everyday carry rechargeable flashlight that has 400 lumens? This one even clips on your hat. Well, guess what? This video is for you. Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you can see, we are taking a look at the Wuben G5. You know what? Enough talk. Let's get right into this review. This is the box that our Wuben G5 came in. I should say that I saw it in black, white, or green, and as per this video, it has a retail value of right around $25. This is considered an everyday carry flashlight. Let's open it up to see what we get. Here's my Wuben G5 unbox. You can see, of course, that I picked the green one because that's my favorite color. Let's talk about the size. So from top to bottom here, it's right around 2.5 inches. From left to right, it's about 1.5 inches, and this is little over 1/2 inch wide. Set this real fast on our scale, and we can see that we have a weight of right around 54 grams. Since we've been talking about the size, and yes, this is small and compact, but you should know they did not skimp on the materials. The exterior here made completely out of aluminum. I love that because yes, that is lightweight, but it's also super durable and tough. That's really important. Let's take a look at the accessories. You can see first and foremost we have a lanyard. We're going to show you how to attach that later. And then there's this charging cord. It is only 6 inches long. So I'm going to see if another charger that I have will actually work because this does not look like anything special other than a regular ordinary USB-C charger. Let's take a closer look at this flashlight before we start charging it. You can see right here we have a lock, and then of course we push it up. That's an unlock, which will allow us then to turn our light on. If we push it all the way forward, it actually reveals our USB-C charging port. Now that we're looking on the top, here is our power on off button. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Of course, we turn it just a little bit. We have our wheel, which is supposed to dial the brightness of our light, also changing our lights if we're using the RGB part. Here's our light itself. We do have a 180-degree swivel. That's pretty cool. On the side, we have what looks like a clip that can be used to clip on your hat or just clip on wherever you would like. This thing can be moved and rotated, so that's kind of neat as well. Which brings us to the bottom. We do have a magnet right there, so if you're going to attach it to something metal to have a light fixture right above you, that is a neat feature that they added on. Of course, here's where we're going to attach our lanyard. Let's do that right now. I've done this a couple different ways, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go from the top down, fishing the cable through. I found this way was a whole lot easier because of the curve going down. Open up that loop, slide the lanyard through, make sure we don't get caught on anything, and there we have it. I like that feature. You can also put a keychain here if you'd rather. Let's do our charge. Now I did test out a different cable just to make sure it worked, and it did for me. So here is the USB-C connection. I'm going to plug it right in. You can see that our light on top is glowing red. That's indicating that it is charging. We know we are finished charging when this light turns blue. You can sort of see the reflection on my hand that it is blue. It looks whiter in the camera, but we are done charging. Pretty cool. Let's test this out. Let's turn this on for the first time. So I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this up into the on position, and this button right here I'm going to turn on, and we're going to see our light light up really, really bright. Let's turn that on. Ooh, that is a pretty decent brightness there. All right, so remember I have the 180 degrees, and if I use this dial, I'm going to start dialing it up a little, and you can see that it's getting dimmer and dimmer. That is a pretty cool feature. It's still on, it just got really, really dim. Of course, to make it bright, I just go back the other direction. This is not just a flashlight, it also has some color options here for that RGB portion. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push and hold the power button. Ready? Now it changed it to the color, so what I can do here is I can actually use this same wheel and cycle through all the different colors. I have red, orange, yellow, green, cayenne, blue, and purple. I do love that. The cool thing about this little flashlight is it has a memory. So right now it's purple. I'm going to turn it off, right? Let it sit down, do whatever, turn it back on. It's going to turn back on to that same purple. I do think that's neat. If I want to go back to being that bright light, let's push and hold our on button again, and there we go. Now what I want to do is I want to show you the emergency feature. I am going to do some blinking, flashing lights, so if you do have sensitivity to that, this is your warning now. So let's turn this back into the colored light. I'm going to push and hold for a couple seconds, and you can see there I'm on the purple. Let's change that to red. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to double tap on the power button. Let's do that. 2 taps, and it turns it into a blinking SOS light. If I need to turn that off, I can just click that button again, and it's going to turn it off of the SOS mode. Let's turn it back on. Now I want to turn that back to the regular light. So I'm going to push and hold for a couple seconds, and there's our regular light again. Of course, now we'll turn it off. If at any time I just wanted to turn it off, I can also just slide down this to the lock position, and it turns it off altogether. During my testing, I was able to get just about an hour of use out of it. That's on the full brightest light you could have, and it takes about 90 minutes to recharge. The cool thing about this is if you have it plugged in and charging, you can actually still work it. That to me is pretty cool because a lot of lights and such don't work if it's charging. This one, while it's charging, it will still work. That takes away from that battery anxiety. I thought this was pretty cool. You can slide over the clip, pop it right on your hat, and now you have a light right there on your cap anytime you need it. Makes a hands-free application. I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts of the Wuben G5? A lot of cool stuff into a small package. Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, when you're down there, let me know your favorite color between the black, the green, or the white. Which one would you have chosen? I really wanted to show you how bright this thing is right now. I have no studio lights on. All the lights are off except for my Wuben G5. Check that out. Now let's wheel our dial. It's going to get really, really bright in here. Check that out. It is super, super bright. I wanted to give you another view of how very bright this is. Of course, we are on the highest setting, and as you remember earlier in the video, this ran for a little over an hour on the highest setting. That's pretty impressive, but check how clear everything is. It's almost as clear as day. I do appreciate how bright this little tiny light is. I couldn't end the video without testing the magnetic feature, which in my opinion is a must-have for any kind of flashlight, but check that out. It's simple and easy, and it just works, even with the attached lanyard. In this video, we are taking a look at the Wuben G5. So what do we think of it? First things first, let's talk about that price point. I was really impressed that it was only 25 bucks. That to me is a pretty good deal. I liked all the different features that they crammed into this light, from the 180-degree swivel to the RGB colors. It was just really, really convenient to have all those different options. Not to mention, it has a pretty serious magnet on the end. I like the size for portability and being compact. Plus, it doesn't weigh a whole lot, and we saw it was just under 55 grams. That to me is important, especially if I'm looking to carry light, if I'm backpacking or whatnot, but I appreciated that. I also enjoyed the included lanyard. I would have liked the battery to have lasted a little longer than it did. I thought, man, in just about an hour, that was a little frustrating. I appreciate that they allow you to use it while being plugged in. Then again, they might want to send us a longer cord because I can't have that plugged in and still use this, but it did work with other cords that I have. I do want to point out that I've used this quite a bit with the clip, and it sort of made some markings on my hat. Now, that might not be a deal breaker for you, and it's not really one for me. It's just something I want to make sure you're careful with when you're putting the clip on and off. Don't drag it against the brim of your hat. I did a quick review of the Amazon listing to check out what other people thought of this light. And as per this video, it had over 2,400 reviews, a 4.5 star rating. That is pretty impressive. Most people love the flashlight. The people that did not like it, or at least rated it lower, actually said it was a good light, except the outside of the material is going to wear down. And they actually have someone who showed a picture of it. Theirs pretty scraped up, and that's to be expected, especially if you're using this on a regular basis. It may not be this pretty for long. Anyway, that was my full review of the Wuben G5. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.